bow, 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 bow. Digga-dig-dig-dig-dig-dig-dig-dig. Ah, mm, mm. What I know, I take my time. Welcome to Pat on the Back. I'm your host, Pat O'Connor. Welcome back to another episode of Pat on the Back. Sorry, I'm looking around a little bit. I've got my dog down here. I've got my cat down here, and they're rummaging around in shit. Welcome back to the show, guys. I was thinking about this the other day. The other day is when you're listening to this, it'll be Friday. I'm recording this on Tuesday. So the other day for in your time is my day today. So what I was thinking about was kind of that, like, does anyone in America give a shit about the World Cup anymore? Now that the US is out, I feel like when the US was in it and it's being hosted in America, and it was like, oh, this is the best team America's had in years. It kind of felt like, holy shit, this is kind of cool. Like, people were kind of into it. Sorry, some people know who some of the players are, like Christian Pulisic. I listened to an interview with one of the captains, or the captain. I don't know how soccer works. The captain, whose name I don't remember, and like I was like, oh, this is a very enjoyable interview to listen to. And now that they got eliminated by whoever, it's kind of along the lines of like, I don't give a I'm right back to not caring at all about the World Cup. Like, I don't really care who wins. I don't care who's playing. I mean, there are some cool players who are still, like Messi, I think is still in at this. I don't know when the next game is, or what team he plays for. I think he plays for Spain, who defeated France, maybe. I don't know. Um, so it's cool that, like, he's still in it, if he's still in it, or that Holland is still in it, if he's still in it. I don't even know Holland's first name. Um, and like that shit's cool, but also who gives a fuck about it anymore? I like the drop off that it feels like it's had out of my life has been so drastic since the US was eliminated. It felt like it really did feel like a big deal when we were in, and it was like, and it was cool because we had people coming to America to like visit and experience what it's like to be here with the people. And it's like, yo, that's fucking sick. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's cool. That people are like, America's not so bad. It's like, hell yeah, America's not so bad. Don't listen to your government, kids. And that goes for everyone in every country. You know what I mean? Like we like cool stuff. We're hospitable people. We like foreigners' food. McDonald's is dope. Waffle House is awesome. So come check out our shit. And that's what they did, and like that's cool that they enjoyed that, and that it was like, oh, it's fucking America's here. And now I just feel like, now that we're down to like 4 teams or whatever, I don't know what stage teams get eliminated. I think there's like 4 teams left, maybe 2 teams left. I don't know. It is largely like, who cares anymore? You know what I mean? Like, who, honest to God, who cares? I don't. I couldn't care less. I'm right back to it meaning literally nothing to me in my life. And I think that's a lot of people. I think most people fall into the category of, yeah, I don't care about this anymore. And I don't think that's wrong to feel that way, because, yeah, I agree. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know of any other Scottish people lighting it up in Boston. You haven't heard about that in what feels like longer than they were here, and I did hear, but I think it was a week ago. I don't know how it works. I didn't watch a single game. I'm a completely a fake fan of soccer. The only way I was following soccer was like when I would listen to other shows that I like talk about soccer. But frankly, I could give a shit less. Also, I heard that England calls like they give us shit for calling it soccer. I heard they call it soccer too. Like they have like the English soccer network or something like that, but they hate on us for calling it soccer. And it's like, okay, well, kind of eat shit a little bit. Like it doesn't really matter that much. Like, why don't we just all call it soccer then? If England has like the Premier League, and I don't know that this is true, but I feel like the Premier League is arguably one of the biggest soccer leagues in the world, definitely bigger than MLS in America by a wide margin. Um, why don't we just call it soccer then? Why are we insisting that we call it football? But also on the other side of things, it's like, okay, well, like then that just kind of makes like American football more for America and less for the world. Like soccer and basketball, those are the, if you want to be like, oh, what's an international sport? It's those two sports. And then baseball a little bit. I don't think as much, but it's there. And then like football doesn't have to be an international sport. American football. You know what I mean? But anyway, the World Cup, like it's so weird how bought in Americans were, and then we just immediately dropped off. And I don't know of anyone talking about it. I don't know of anyone watching it. That's not true. I did see one kid at the gym today. He had a soccer game on his phone, and I cannot imagine he was getting much value out of that, but still that was what was happening. So maybe he was. But it's just it was fun for a minute is what it was. It was cool for us to be like the host country and be like, "Hey, yeah, we might have a shot in this one." And then immediately come to the closing realization, closing thought, whatever the fuck, that no, we are not, and no, we do not care. And it's because we commit to sports that are just more fun. Like football, American football is way more fun than soccer. And I don't think it's even remotely close. The crazy thing is that if you wanted to make an argument like soccer should be more entertaining than baseball because like baseball like there can be games where like nothing is happening. And when nothing's happening in baseball, nothing is happening. 0-0 and you're like nothing is happening. But in soccer, at least 0-0 is like the ball is getting kicked around, it's flying back and forth, people are running all over the place. Like at least there's things that are happening. So it should be more interesting to us than baseball, but baseball is America's pastime. And football is the most popular and most American sport. And then basketball, we have the greatest basketball league in the country. In the world, in the country. Obviously in the country, but also in the world. So it's like, you know what the fuck? Like and then hockey, we have the NHL, which has like what, 4 Canadian teams in it, and then every other team is somewhere in America. And I don't know of any other countries' hockey leagues, but I don't think it's not put like that's why Canada and America are like fucking top contenders all the time in the Olympics because it's like, you know, well, who else is doing this sport? Fucking so the rest of the world, it's literally all they have is soccer. And we thought that we were going to compete for some I'm not even sure why. I thought we were just because people were saying it. People were like, this is the best team we've had in a while. I think if we're playing as good as we can compete with anybody. And so I was like, holy shit. maybe we've fucking finally put something together here. And then we lost to a team, and for like 10 minutes, Americans were like, oh no, I can't believe we fucked this whole thing up. When in reality, it's like we never should have expected to be winning that game to begin with. Like, so why do we care? And then that's exactly where we ended up. We ended up where we were like, actually, we just remembered we don't care about this like at all. This is a dumb thing for us to even want to be a part of. And it's like, kind of, yeah. Like, I'm not going to say outright, yeah, but a little bit, yeah. Like, so it's like whatever. I don't know. I kind of lost my point on that I kind of lost track of a little bit is that Americans cared about soccer more than I've ever seen in my entire life until we got eliminated, and then we had like that reputation check of like, oh dude, I forgot I actually don't give a shit about this at all. Like, that's how it felt, or that's how it feels to me. Not that I mean I don't care about soccer, like it's cool I guess, but like I was out to dinner one night with a lovely young lady, and we were on a date and we were chit-chatting, and then all of a sudden the entire rest of the restaurant is like, "Whoa!" And they were like watching the soccer game. I don't even know who it was, and they were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they!" And the whole restaurant was in an uproar except for us two, and I was like, I mean, I know soccer's on, but like I didn't realize that we cared about it this much. And I think the next day is when America got eliminated, and I haven't heard anyone even remotely give a fuck about soccer since then. Not even close, not even a whisper. I think one guy talked to me about it at work because he was like, "What's going on with soccer? Weren't we supposed to be good at that this year?" And I went, "Yeah, but then it turns out we were the same as always." And it was like, "Oh, okay." And like that was the end of the conversation. I'm not an informed soccer fan by any means, and I was the most informed person that I talked to. So it was like, okay, that kind of whatever, like who gives a shit, I guess, is where we landed. Also, what's so weird about the World Cup? And this goes for the Olympics too. And I don't understand this at all, okay? So I'll be listening to a show or talking to someone and it's the same whether it's the Olympics or the World Cup, and they'll be like, "Ah, well, like Germany, I don't know any Germany just hasn't been good the past three or four World Cups." That's kind of when they've kind of fallen off a little bit the past 3 or 4 World Cups. And on the surface, the way they're wording it sounds like not that much time. But when you take a second to think about it, three or four World Cup cycles is 12 to 16 years, which is like, if we put that in American football time frames, dude, that's fucking a long time. That's almost the entire Patriots dynasty. Like in American football, in 16 years, a team can be shitty, get good for a few years, and have a dynasty, technically, say they win 3 Super Bowls, and then get bad again. And we're using that as the frame of like, oh, well, this team used to be better, and now they're kind of starting to fall off. It's like, dude, they have people on that team who were 2 years old the last time that this team was good. If you had the NBA, if you had a basketball team, the Detroit Pistons, if the Detroit Pistons started to fall off 16 years ago, and you were just like, they just have never been as good as they used to be, You wouldn't be like they haven't been as good or they're starting to get bad. You'd be like, this team sucks. Like if Germany, I don't know, I keep going with Germany for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I don't know enough to be like harping on Germany. I think I read something somewhere that said they won in like 2012 or whatever. Okay, or who gives a shit, honestly? And it's like, okay, so they were good then, and now they're bad because they haven't made like a semi-final for the World Cup or Final Four or whatever in the World Cup since then, or something like that. And we're just like, they've kind of not even like a full commitment, just they've kind of fallen off a little bit. And it's like, no, they have, dude. They have. It's been 12 years. The team that won in 2008 is not going to be good now. Even that was only 4 World Cups ago, but you can't count. It's not the same as 4 Super Bowls. You can't be like, oh, well, the Chiefs won a Super Bowl recently. And it's like, oh, really? When? It's like, well, about 4 years ago. It's like, oh, okay, that's not too long, but yeah, okay. But you have to, like, you put the scale it into the actual number of years, and you're like, oh, France hasn't been good at soccer in the World Cup in 4 cycles. And you're like, yeah, well, because that's almost 20 years ago, dude. You're talking about like 1998 is the last time that France was good or something like that. I don't know exactly, but you know what I mean. Like, of course, like that's the last time they were good. Let's stop talking in these small granulated numbers to make it not sound so bad just because it's accurate. They fucking sucked, and we can say that they suck now. If it's been almost 20 years since a team was good, that team is bad. Okay, that's not they're kind of falling off a little bit. It's like, no, they're bad now. They just suck. There's nothing wrong with that. I am a massive Buffalo Bills fan. They had a 17-year playoff drought. There wasn't a time in that 17 years where I was like, they're just they're not as good as they used to be. They've kind of fallen off a little bit. It was like, no, they suck, dude. Ask anyone in the league. The Browns went 0-16. They weren't like, yeah, we're not quite as good as we used to be. It's like, no, we're garbage, dude. We didn't win a single game. Like, yeah, so it makes sense. So, like, why are we trying to, like, we're using manipulative vocabulary to make the World Cup or the Olympics seem like it wasn't that long ago that these teams were good, but it's been a long time. Like, but when you just say, 4 World Cup cycles ago, 3 Summer Olympics ago, it doesn't sound as bad. And then you're like, oh yeah, it's not even the same bitches doing curling. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're not as good because they don't have the good people. Like, people can get worse, but you're using a vocabulary that makes it seem like it's not as bad. And it's like, dude, that's not how Americans should pretend to discuss sports. Like when I discuss sports, I go like, when's the last time they won a Super Bowl? 5 years ago? Have they made the playoffs since then? No? Well, they kind of suck now. The Cincinnati Bengals, they kind of suck now. They're not making the playoffs consistently. They kind of suck now. Fucking the Celtics, dude, they just won the NBA championship. Like, what was that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that? I don't remember exactly. 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm like, are they going to be as good with Paul George? I don't know. Maybe they suck now. I don't think they suck, but you know what I mean? Like, when the Pistons won the NBA championship in 2004 and then didn't win it again, because we kind of quickly went like, yeah, the Pistons kind of suck now. So, after 2004, the Pistons have kind of sucked. That was 20 years ago. We can say that they sucked. History has shown that they suck, dude. The Cavaliers? Kind of since LeBron left and went to the Lakers, they've kind of sucked a little bit. It's like, yeah, he left in like 2018, dude. He left 8 years ago. And like they kind of make the playoffs here, and they don't make any noise in the playoffs, dude. Damian Lillard's Trailblazers kind of sucked. Damian Lillard was great, but like they kind of suck. You know, it is what it is. Like it's. I don't know if that made sense. I feel like I kind of lost my way on that point a little bit, but it's been if it's been almost 20 years since a team was good, that team sucks. Since they reached even remotely the same level of success, within 2 tiers of success, okay? We'll say it's the winners. You participated in the finals. You made it to the Final Four. You haven't made it to the Final Four since you won it. You suck, dude. It's been almost 20 years. You suck. And that's fine. Okay? Because most teams suck. Most countries suck. When it comes to the World Cup, when it comes to the Olympic Games, like, there's going to be things that you fucking suck at that you used to be good at. Dude, I used to be good at running when I was in the Army 6 years ago. Dude, now I fucking suck at running. I hope there isn't a natural disaster. If a tornado starts coming at me, I can't get away from it without getting winded. I kind of fucking suck at running now, dude. Like, so those things happen. We get worse. So let's stop using this spruced up. They've kind of fallen off the past 3 or 4 World Cups. No, they're just bad, man. They haven't kind of fallen off of shit. They suck now. Like, that's how it is, dude. And that should be fine to say. And I don't think anyone's going to push back on that. But just when you hear people who are like in the sports media space, you know, you listen to the guys on like Fox News or ESPN or whatever, they're going to discuss it in a way that makes it seem like, oh, you know, it wasn't that long ago. When in reality, it's like, yeah, whatever number they just said, multiply that shit by 4, dog. That's it's been a long time, dude. You can't say, like, if you say, oh, they've kind of fallen off since in the past 2 World Cups. It's like, yeah, it's been almost a decade, brother. Of course they're not as good anymore. You go jump on a trampoline right now, and then in 10 years, jump on a trampoline again. You're going to be like, holy shit, this kind of sucks. It's like, yeah, of course, man. Why would you be as good? That doesn't make sense, dude. Speaking of sucking and the Buffalo Bills, dude, we're on top of this world right now. I didn't see these rankings. I don't know who posted them. I don't know if it's on Yahoo, Twitter, whatever the fuck. I have no idea. But Josh Allen has been ranked as the number 1 quarterback in the league above Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes sucks now. And do I really think he sucks? No. Is he going to be coming off an ACL tear? Yeah, so he might be not as good, I think is justified to say. But it feels so good to finally have the recognition that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league. I've been saying that for 2 or 3 years now. He's hands down the best quarterback in the league. People keep blaming playoff losses on him when they're not really his fault. When he's just out there fucking doing his best. Has he had some underperformances? Yeah, of course. But you know what? Just because you don't make it to a Super Bowl doesn't mean you're not great. Okay, are we really going to sit here and say Dan Marino was bad because he never made it to a Super Bowl? Eat shit, I think, is my opinion on that. I don't know that to put that metric into perspective, now that I'm really thinking about it, Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls. Dan Marino, I believe, went to 0. At the very least, didn't win any. Maybe went to 1 if and that's me being generous, like maybe I'm misremembering. And I have never met a single person who ranks Jim Kelly above Dan Marino in terms of all-time quarterbacks just because he's attended more Super Bowls. So eat shit. Being the best quarterback in the league does not constitute having attended a Super Bowl or not. Okay, because if that was the case, we would be ranking some of the guys we'd be putting ahead of other people. Like, so if we value Super Bowls too much and we go, well, you obviously can't be the best if you haven't been to a Super Bowl. If that's the guideline we use, I disagree. But okay, let's run through that thought process. Kenny Pickett's been in a Super Bowl. Is anyone taking him over Josh Allen? Jalen Hurts has played in a Super Bowl. I don't think anyone's taking him over Josh Allen. I don't think anyone's going to take Carson Wentz. I don't think anyone's going to take Joe Flacco. I don't think anyone's going to take Aaron Rodgers. Right now, to be the best quarterback in the league, just because he hasn't attended a Super Bowl as a player, eat shit. He's the best quarterback in the league. I've seen some people, and it's always the fucking Kansas City fans, always the Mahomes fans, always the fucking dumb bitch Swifties out there who are like, oh, okay, well, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's like it can't be Josh Allen because he's never been to a Super Bowl, and it's like, okay, yeah, but he's still good. He's still better than Patrick Mahomes is. And a lot of people have been like, well, oh, so he threw 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 3,600 yards last year. Okay, not his best. Admittedly, not his best. But go fuck yourself. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna fold off the Josh Allen train. Someone asked me the other day, and it was just a bullshitting at work. We had time to kill, and they said, "Who do you think leaves their team first, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow?" And this was completely hypothetical, to replace Matt Stafford in LA. And I've always said Joe Burrow. And someone asked me that question, and they were like, well, do you think it's Joe Burrow or Josh Allen? And I told him, I was like, look, I think it's got more to do with how easy can you move off of Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow? Like, which franchise can move off of that quarterback easier is the first question you have to ask, and 100% it's Joe Burrow. Josh Allen is so beloved in Buffalo and by Bills fans and Bills Mafia that I don't think you can reasonably trade him and be like, well, we just wanted what's best for him. We wanted him to give him the chance to go and win. Because I think as long as you have Josh, you have a chance to win. And clearly we've seen that as long as you have Burrow, you don't necessarily have a chance to win. And that's not to say he isn't great. I think Joe Burrow's probably the best pocket passer in the league, barring Matt Stafford. I mean, they're neck and neck. I think at this point in his career, Burrow's better. I think that he isn't as indebted to the Bengals franchise because they don't make moves to win now. They make moves to make money. And so I think they would be more apt to move off of Joe Burrow and be like, well, this is going to make us more money in the future. Historically, and this can be dated back to with Carson Palmer when he played for the Bengals. He said he never felt like Cincinnati took winning seriously. They were never about winning a Super Bowl. Okay, but the Bills are. The Bills have been to 4 of them, and they've, albeit not necessarily always the right move or the best move or what have you, but since getting Josh Allen, they have made consistent moves towards winning Super Bowls, whereas the Bengals haven't. They had one good defensive player, and they just traded him to the Ravens this past offseason. So it's like, okay, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like it's I just don't buy Cincinnati as realistic. And now that Josh Allen is considered by some expert somewhere or some vote done by GMs and shit like that. I don't know. I did not read the article, the ranking, the posting. It's just something I heard about and was like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, go Josh, Daddy Allen, that's my guy. And that I'm sure people in Cincinnati feel the same way about Joe Burrow. And obviously people are going to feel the same way about Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts and fucking Justin Herbert. They're going to be like, well, that's my guy. And it's like, yeah, but your guy is not as good as my guy, okay? Josh Allen's my guy, and he's the best guy. He's an all-time guy. I think it's been largely said Josh Allen is one of, if not the most talented quarterback in the league. And I think it's finally come due that it's like, well, yeah, he is. Get that recognition, dude. Like, you've been number 2 or number 3 for a long time, and people are totally on board with that until you start saying Josh Allen is number 1, and then people start to have a fucking problem. And it's not everybody, but it is enough people that it's notable. Like, are we really going to sit here and rank Drake May ahead of Josh Allen because Drake May's been to a Super Bowl and Josh hasn't? Like, fucking get real, dude. Josh Allen is obviously better. So, and that was one of the big arguments that I heard. I was like, oh, how can you put Josh ahead of people like Mahomes or ahead of Matt Stafford, like these guys who have been to and won, or at the very least been to Super Bowls, and be like, well, he's the number 1 quarterback, even though he's never been to one. It's like, it's more than that, okay? Getting to a Super Bowl is more than just the quarterback. And people like to make it a quarterback stat, but that's not how it fucking works, dude. Look at the numbers that Joe Burrow puts up, and he can't get a win to save his fucking life because he doesn't have a defense, dog. So, ultimately, I just want to say, to summarize my thoughts and my feelings on this topic, is that Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league, and anyone who says differently and has any kind of statistical backing or anything like that, get fucked. I don't care, okay? He's the best quarterback in the league. Watch him on the field. And if you watch him on the field and you're like, well, this guy was still better, I'll be like, I still don't care. Okay? Because I ride or die with Daddy Allen. So eat shit. That's what I have to say about that. Eat shit. You don't like Josh Allen being the number 1 quarterback in the league? Do something about it. You go and you be the best quarterback in the league. I bet you can't. I bet you can't do it. So fuck off, dude. My guy's number 1, dude. That's all I care about. Josh Allen's number 1. Patrick Mahomes isn't. America's back to not caring about soccer, just like it should be. Things are pretty right in the world today for me. Things are going pretty good for me, dude. We're moving on from soccer, and Josh Allen's number 1. That's a good fucking day, dude. But I think that's going to be the show for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys like the show, please like, subscribe, follow. Go check me out on Instagram, Pat O'Connor Comedy. Just started a TikTok if you guys are more TikTok girlies. I now have Pat O'Connor Comedy on TikTok. And go check us out on YouTube. Also, go check out Rudy Tuesday podcast, comedy podcast I do with Breck Michael and Rudy Marinosi. That comes out every Tuesdays at 7. Pat on the Back comes out every Friday at 7. Thank you guys so much for listening. See you next time.